Welcome students for today's class. Today I am going to take a topic called Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So last class we have seen around three protocols under networking protocols, that is TCP/IP, Transmission Control Protocol and Internet Protocol, and File Transfer Protocol, and finally we have seen about point-to-point protocols. So the next networking protocol is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So mainly this protocol is used for transferring the web contents. So what is meant by hypertext? So it is used, hypertext actually it is a combination of text, graphic, image, sound and video. Actually website contents only normally known as hypertext. So it is used to transfer the hypertext between the two computers, and it is particularly used on the World Wide Web. So that is WWW. It is actually based on the TCP/IP based communication protocol. So normally all the networking protocols is works based on the TCP/IP protocol only. So it provides a standard, that is it is providing a set of rules for web browsers and the servers to communicate. So normally when you want to download any website contents, you need to type a URL and you should connect with the server, remote server where the website contents are located. So in the same way only, your hypertext actually located in the website. So that contents are going to be transferred from the server to the client side machine. So in a client side computer, we need to have a software called a web browser software. That server software is only used for communicating the server. So hypertext is this text that is specially coded. So how this hypertext is made up of? It is specially designed or coded using the standard coding language called the hypertext markup language. So HTML is the only language which is used for creating the hypertext contents. So HTML creates hyperlinks and thereby controls how the World Wide Web works and how the web pages are formatted and displayed. So web pages need to be formatted and displayed based on the HTML only. So it is going to control the World Wide Web works also. So next, hyperlinks. What is meant by hyperlinks? Hyperlinks can be in the form of text, graphic, image, sound or video, and it is used to link the user to some other file. Normally using hyperlinks we can move to another page. So in a web page, if you take, hyperlinks are used to connect one page to another page or one file to another file. So normally it is indicated in a underlined format like this, with some color, normally blue color, and underlined format the hyperlinks will be appear. So when you enter a URL, what is meant by URL? URL means Uniform Resource Locator. So when you are entering URL in your web browser, this actually sends a HTTP command to the web server, directing it to fetch and transmit the requested web page. So this HTTP command is used to fetch means it will get the content and transmit the requested web page from the website. So HTTP is based on the client server principle. So communication between the host and the client occurs through a request response pair. So communication between the web host and the client is going to occur through a request and response pair. So first we need to make a request by typing the URL, and the response will be received from the server side. Next, a connection is established. How the connection is established between the two computers, out of which one is client. So two computers will be there in order to transfer the hypertext contents. So one will be a client, and that is generally called as browser. So normally client machine should be installed with the web browser software. Web browser softwares you all know, example Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Opera, all those web browser softwares are used for communicating or connecting with the web server contents. So that initiates the request. So normally browser, which is located in the client machine only, is going to initiate the request. It will start the request, and other is the server that responds to the request. So two computers in between only the connection is going to be established. That one machine is having a web browser software that is making a request. The other one is responding to that request. So HTTP, it identifies the resource or file. What is meant by resource here? It is going to identify, this HTTP only is going to identify or find the files that the client has requested for, and informs the server about the action to be taken. So what action the server need to take, all those things are informed by this HTTP once the URL is entered in the web browser and entered by the user. When the user clicks on the hyperlink hyperlink text. The client program on their computer uses HTTP to contact the server, identifies the resource and asks the server to respond with an action. So client side is expecting the reply from the server once it is sending the request to the server. So HTTP server, that is the server accepts the request and then uses the HTTP to respond to perform the action. It will accept the request from the client side. So server will accept the request from the client side and then it uses the HTTP protocol in order to respond to perform the action. So next, what are the features of HTTP? It is a connectionless. First feature is it is connectionless. Second, it is a media independent. Third one, it is stateless. Okay, so what is connectionless? So after request is made, the client disconnect from the server. So once a request is made to the server, the client will disconnect from the server and it will wait for the response from the server. Again, to process the request, the server has to re-establish the connection with the client. Again, if the server want to respond to the request of the client, it will again re-establish the connection. That is, the server again re-establish the connection with the client in order to send the reply to the client. So that's why it is called connectionless. So once it is sending the request or once it want to reply for a request, then only the connection will be made. So remaining time it will be disconnected from the client and also from the server. HTTP is a media independent. What is media independent? This means any type of data like text data, image, sound, video can be sent by HTTP as long as both the sender and the client, that is client and the server, know how to handle the data content. So both the client and server know how to handle the data content. Then only this is known as media independent. Next is stateless. Why HTTP is called stateless? The server and the client are aware of each other only during the request. Only when there is a request or during the request time alone, it will be knowing each other. The server and client will be knowing each other. Afterwards, they will get disconnected. So here you can see one simple diagram to understand about how the HTTP works. See here, HTTP client. Here it is located. HTTP client is located here at the left side. So HTTP client, it is called as web browser also. So from here the request is sent, HTTP request message is sent to the HTTP server side, that is web server here, because the worldwide web contents only are going to be accessed via HTTP protocol. So once that is reaching the server after getting the request from the client machine or web browser, it will access that process. Then it will send a reply to the response message to the client side machine web browser through HTTP over TCP/IP protocol. Okay, so next, another detailed diagram. So here the user issues, in the first point, user issues a URL from a browser. This HTTP colon host name colon port and /path or file. So which file you want to access, that full URL you can type here, or just a website address alone you can type. And here browser sends that request to the server. So server is taking action against that request, and then it is responding by replying a reply message to the client. So this is done over the over TCP/IP. It is using HTTP protocol here, and it is taking the principle of TCP/IP also in order to transmit that response to the client machine or to the browser. So browser formats this response and displays it in the client machine screen. Okay, so in a client machine screen, the code, whatever content, hypertext content is transmitted from the server, it will be displayed in a user understandable way. So in this way only HTTP protocol works. So next, some of the protocols we are going to study here in this class, that is email protocols. Totally there are 3 email protocols are given. First one is SMTP, that is Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. Second one, POP3, Post Office Protocol version 3. Then third one is IMAP, that is Internet Message Access Protocol or Mail Access Protocol also we can say. So first protocol is normally called as push protocol. It is used at the sender side. POP3 and IMAP is used at the receiver side. So because if you want to send an email, there must be one sender and there must be one receiver. So in a sender side, we will normally use this SMTP protocol, and in receiver side, in order to receive that reached mail, POP3 or IMAP protocol is going to be used. POP3 is IMAP is used along with the POP3 protocol only. It is not going to be used separately. It is used in conjunction with, that is IMAP is used in conjunction or connection with this POP3 protocol only. So now let us look at simple mail transfer protocol, how it is doing its work. So it allows the transmission of email over the internet or between the servers. So it is normally is called as push protocol. Most of the email softwares like Yahoo Mail, Google Mail, Gmail, all those mails we are having now, that email softwares is designed to use the SMTP. When an email has to be sent, the address of their internet service provider's SMTP server has to be given. So whenever you want to send any email, you need to type the email address first. So that is only they have given here. So email address you need to type first initially along with username and the password. So the actual mail transfer is done through the message transfer agent software only. So MTA is called a mail transfer agent or message transfer agent. It will be available both at the client side and also in the server side. So the client computer must have a client MTA and the server must have the server MTA. I already said MTA, that is my mail transfer agent, will be available both at the client machine and also server machine, because through this MTA only the transfer is going to be taken place, mail transfer is going to be taken place. So SMTP actually defines the MTA client and the server on the internet. It is reliable and also easy to set up protocol. So here you can see one simple diagram. User at the terminal side, that is in the sender, then user agent is there. See here, user agent and sent mail queue. So whatever mail you are sending from the sender side, that is attached in the queue, sent mail queue. And then MTA message transfer agent is located at the client side. This is sent through the port number 25, that is port number 25 is allotted for SMTP only. So MTA message transfer agent at the server side is receiving that, and it is transmitting that content to the other user agent which is located at the receiver side. So like this, the mail transfer is taken place in the simple mail transfer protocol. So both the client side and server side, we are using this transfer agents. Through the transfer agent only this mail transfer is taken place. So what is the purpose of SMTP? It allows the server to break up the different parts of the message into categories the other server can understand. So how normally email will be sent? So when you are typing an email, you will be seeing the recipient address box, that is to box, then body of the message, and then the title heading, then sender address. Everything need to be there when you are sending the mail to the other person. So any email message has a sender and a recipient, and sometimes multiple recipients also. So you can send that single message to many persons also. So multiple recipients also sometimes will be there. A message body will be there. So there only you will type all your contents. You will attach your files also, and usually a title heading will be there. That is a subject for what contents you are attaching in the mail, that is going to be included in the title heading. So once message goes going out of the internet, out on the internet, everything is turned onto strings of text. So whatever you are sending is going to be splitted as a strings of text, a group of characters, like it is going to be splitted. The text is going to be separated by the code words. So normally entire text will not be transmitted in a one single packet. So already we discussed in TCP/IP packets, all the messages are going to be transferred like a packets only, simple packets. So same way, text is going to be separated here as a separate group of strings. So by using the code words to identify each section of the mail. So to identify each section, it is going to separate each section with the help of the code word. The code word normally it may be a group of characters or it may be a numbers also, that is going to separate the section of the mail. See, this SMTP is going to provide those codes, the code words. Who is going to provide that? SMTP is only providing that code words, and the email server software also is designed to interpret these codes. So email server software only is used to interpret these codes. Then it will set up the communication rules between the servers. So SMTP is used to set up communication rules between the servers. that is a sender side server and the receiver side server. Every server has its own way to identify itself. Every server will identify itself and defines the mode of communication, in which way the communication is taken place, and how it will follow. Then it will check for the errors of that message, and it will handle the errors also in the message. So that is the responsibility of each server. And if the recipient address is wrong, or if there is some other problem, the receiving server may reply with some error message. So normally when you are typing the wrong email address, that is recipient address, when it is wrong, that message will not be sent to that person, and also you will get the error message immediately if the recipient address is wrong means. Okay. Next, here you can look at one simple diagram to understand how the SMTP protocol is working. So here client machine we are typing the email address, and it is forwarded with the help of the SMTP protocol through SMTP server. Then outside the SMTP server, it is connected to the internet. Through internet via SMTP protocol, it is reaching to the POP or IMAP server, which is there at the receiver machine side. Okay, this POP3 or IMAP machine, IMAP protocol only is going to be used for receiving the mail, because this POP3 or IMAP server only is going to communicate with the SMTP server in order to retrieve that mail from the sender side, and it is giving that content to the message to the receiver side. Okay. So what are the disadvantages of this simple mail transfer protocol? It is easy to send a message with a fake sender address. So we can make a fake fake email address in order to send a message. This, what will happen, this will result in a spread of many email based viruses. So email based viruses can be created with the help of this fake sender address. Fake email address, sender address, we can use it for transferring the contents to the other persons. So this is one of the drawback of the SMTP protocol. Someone may receive a message that they think that is coming from a friend when someone else is actually sending it. So you may get a message from a different person, but you may think that it is coming from your friend. So like that, fake sender address also can be created, and it can be sent to a receiver side. If the destination computer is not online, so if the destination computer is not in online or in not using the internet, then mails cannot be received immediately. Okay. Next, extended simple mail transfer protocol. This is one of the protocol, simple mail protocol only. It is extended to support the multimedia contents. So till now we have seen how the text messages are going to be transferred. So now this extended simple mail transfer protocol is used for sending the multimedia content. So what is meant by multimedia? Like music file and picture files only is known as multimedia content. So when someone want to send a picture or music file to their email program, like email program means email software only, like Gmail or Google Mail, Rediff Mail. So ESMTP, that is the extended simple mail transfer protocol communication codes, are used to identify the kind of data being transferred. So normally port number for every protocol, port numbers are used. So here port 25, by default SMTP is choosing the port number 25. This is actually non-encrypted port, that is, it is not a secured one. So port number 465 only, encrypted port, that is secure communication. Any hackers, they cannot able to hack the contents which are transmitted between the sender and the receiver. Next is multi-purpose internet mail extension. This is also one supplementary protocol, that is one of the supported protocol which is used by the SMTP. It is used to allow the non-ASCII data. What is meant by non-ASCII data? ASCII data means already text file only is called ASCII data. American Standard Code for Information Interchange Data only is text file. If you want to send the binary files like music or picture files, that can be sent